Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Sue with Homesteading with Sue, and today I'm going to make an 14-day master loaf bread dough with cheese and garlic powder infused into it. I have 3 cups of actually 3 cups of warm water, 2 tablespoons of yeast, dry active yeast. I'm going to stir it together. And we'll let it bloom, which means we activated it. And we're going to have 6.5 cups of all-purpose flour and 1.5 tablespoons of salt. And then we're going to use a couple of handfuls of Mexican cheese, shredded cheese, and some garlic powder. Okay, it looks like to me it's nice and bloomed, so we're going to go ahead and put the salt in. Stir it together. Okay, now we're going to start putting in part of the 6.5 cups of flour. This is going to be what I consider a wet dough. So after I put some more of the flour in, I'm going to actually use my hand to stir it because it's going to be easier. And to do that, you'll want to get your hand damp so less of the dough sticks to it. I can put the rest of the flour in. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and pour some garlic powder in. I am not exactly sure how much to put in, so I'm just going to put some in. That looks like a good amount. We'll get some cheese in there. Alright, now we're going to go ahead and continue mixing it. Remember, this makes 2 loaves or 2 batches of dough. And it'll last 14 days in the refrigerator. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and get my hand all wet. Make sure it's nice and stirred up together. Get all the flour off the sides of the bowl. See what I mean by a sticky loaf? Even with the water, it Sticks a lot. Go ahead and get it wet again. Okay, so after this, we're going to go ahead and let it raise for 2 hours. And then we'll stick it in the refrigerator. And after an hour and a half of that, it'll be ready to use. I probably won't use it until tomorrow. And I'll be back when it doubles. This is what it looks like now. I'll show you what it looks like when it's doubled when I come back. One thing I forgot to tell you is I'm just going to sit the lid back on the container. I'm not going to seal it down. All right. This is what it looks like after it's doubled in size. Now I'm going to put the lid on it and put it in the refrigerator, and it'll be usable after an hour and a half. All right. Today I'm going to use some of my 14-day bread dough. It is garlic and cheese, which I showed you how to make it in the video before this. I'm just going to grab out enough to make what I think will be a good amount of breadsticks. We're going to have pizza tonight, but I don't want to overdo the breadsticks either. So I just pulled some out. Go ahead and see if I can do this without knocking everything on the floor. Can't see that. There you go. I already have my oven preheating to 375. And I'm going to just go ahead and they're not going to be straight, but that's okay. So I just made them equal in size. And now I'm going to cut them with the pizza cutter. And then I'll cook them for 8 minutes to start with. They could take up to 12. But I'm going to go ahead and put them onto this pan. And let them sit for a little bit. Let my oven get heated up and ready to cook these, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. Alright, so I decided that I cooked them for 8 minutes and they're not done enough, so I'm going to go ahead and put butter on top of them. To help with the browning. I cooked them for the 8 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and put them in for another 5. I'm still learning how to use my oven, so I got to wait for it to heat back up to 375. All right. So when it's cooked, when it's heated back up to 375, I will go ahead and put it back in for another 5 minutes. All right, so I started cooking them at 8 minutes. It took a total of 18 minutes, and this is what they look like now. And they're extremely hot. They just come out of the oven. So I would take a bite for you, but they're a little too hot for that. So I'm going to let them cool off, and then I'll take a bite for you. All right, so I've let it cool off a little bit. delicious. I hope you enjoyed this part of the video. There'll be at least one, maybe two more videos attached to this of different ways to use that bread. But thank you for watching so far. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Now I'm going to make some, I don't know how to explain it. I'm going to make like a cinnamon roll shape, but I'm going to use ham and Philadelphia cream cheese in the middle instead of the sugar and the brown and the butter. So first off, I am going to heat up this pan. It has a half a cube of butter in it, and it's good. I'm going to melt it. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it in the oven. I have my oven on at 375. Now I'm going to cut this and then use my Tupperware chopper to mince it so that I can kind of mix it together with the cream cheese so it will combine together. And after we get this made and the butter melted, I'm going to go ahead and get the dough out, and then we'll let it rise in the pan for 20 to 25 minutes till they're all touchy in the 9 by 13 pan. Alright, so this looks good to me. Should roll up real nice and easy. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the video for a second and I'll be back. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some flour down on the counter, the table, so I can work with the dough. Take about half of it. And remember, this dough has cheese and garlic powder in it. All right. Come on, quit sticking. Let me check on that pan. Okay, back to the dough. I want to roll it out so it'll make approximately 12 cinnamon rolls. Well, they're not going to be cinnamon rolls, they're going to be ham rolls, but that looks good to me. So I'm going to take some of this jalapeno cream cheese and just spread it across here. Now I'm going to put some of this ham on here. And what I don't use for this, I'll use in baked potatoes tomorrow. I mean, cubed potatoes for breakfast. Okay. Now we want to take it in and roll it up nice and tight. Okay, it's cut nice and tight, and then we will just use a knife to cut the 12 pieces off. Get some more room in here. This piece of butter wasn't completely melted, but that's okay, it will melt. Okay, gonna cut them in equal pieces. All right, they're all in here, so now we're going to wait for 20-25 minutes to have them grow together. Another thing is I'm going to go ahead and put this towel over the top of these rolls. Just because you should cover them if you're going to let them sit out. So, all right, these have doubled in size, so I'm going to put them in a preheated 375-degree oven for another 20 to 25 minutes, and then I'll show you what they look like when they're done. All right, so I cooked them for at 375 for 30 minutes. This is what they look like now, and when you take them out of the oven, you flip them onto a, whoops, that didn't work quite right. They were supposed to be upside down. Anyway, so this is some of the view of the bottom of them. Ooh, they look delicious. They smell really good. So I'm going to get a plate, and once one gets cold enough, I will take a bite for you. All right, so this is the two I chose. I'm going to go ahead and take a bite of this. I think I should have put a little more ham in them, but they taste delicious. All right, so today I'm going to do the last bit of my 14-day bread dough that has been in the refrigerator. I'm going to go ahead and just make it a regular loaf. I've gotten busy and I'm just going to go ahead and do a loaf, but I'm going to actually do it a little differently than normal. I'm going to go ahead and get it in the pan and let it rise a little bit. Of course, my pan is greased. I used a cooking spray on it. And I'm just going to let it rise a little bit, and then I'll stick it in the 375-degree oven for an hour. And I'm going to actually wash my hands, and I'll be right back. I'm going to put, sorry about that, I am going to put some butter on the top of this so that this can get brown. Okay, like I said, I'm going to let it rise a little bit. Probably see about 20 minutes and see what it's doing in that time. All right, so this is how the bread turned out. It cooked at 375 for 60 minutes. And nice and brown on top. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.